Hey guys, welcome back. So I wanted to show you this really simple, and I mean really simple lighting setup, and a couple of different ways you can use it for lighting a tabletop YouTube video. And this setup is really aimed at just being simple and not taking up much space in the room, not costing much money. And I'll show you this with an expensive light and a cheap light. And this is not intended for shooting a person. I think, you can light a person like this, but that's not what this setup is intended for. If you're looking to light up yourself, then see my other videos in the links down below where I show very similar lighting setups, both expensive and cheap, for lighting a person. But this video is about lighting a tabletop. So I've just got a few little examples here. So first of all, the setup that you're seeing right here is super simple, and this here is being shown with an expensive light, which is the Pixel Pro Mark II, and it's just shining on the ceiling, and that's it. It's just super simple, and now you can shine it on the ceiling, you can shine it on the wall, and the important thing is to play with it and see what gives you the look that you like. And now, in some situations, what you'll notice is that you get some nice shadows, which I think is an important thing, because if you get a look that's too diffused, in my opinion, it can sometimes just, you don't see enough detail in what you're looking at. So I think you want a little bit of shadows, but not too much. So you're just playing around with the light, aiming it in different directions and seeing what you like. And so just move it around. In most directions, it's going to look quite nice. Having a light on, right now I've just turned on the ceiling light, having a different light on, even in another room, just the tiniest little bit of light coming in that's a slightly different color, or causing some harsh shadows, even if you don't notice it immediately when looking at the camera, it can have an effect. I make sure to turn those off. I don't like anything causing any extra shadows or extra colors or anything like that in the video when I'm trying to create my lighting look. Before we get into adding a second light, what I'll do is show you this being lit the exact same thing with a super cheap light. So it's a £25 light, nothing else. No light stand, no, it's just that, some AA batteries, and that's it. Super simple, super cheap, and these are rechargeable, by the way, which, otherwise you're gonna be going through loads of money on batteries. So rechargeable AA batteries from Anyloop. So, okay, so I'm gonna turn off this light and turn on this light. And so I've set this to maximum power now, and just shining it up at the ceiling, and just different directions, shine it at the wall behind the items to create this sort of look. And as you can probably tell, this is not quite as bright of a light as the big one, but it's still creating a nice look. And so yeah, so I mean, in my opinion, still very nice. And if you had a nice bright wall over there, then you can, you can bounce it off the wall, bounce it off multiple walls or something. Basically, play around with it, but you can get a super, right now what you're looking at is just me pointing at the ceiling, and that's it. Super simple, but really nice looking. And so, okay, let's get into shining two lights. I've got one shining at the ceiling. By the way, the reason I like this sort of lighting setup is because it doesn't require umbrellas, softboxes, doesn't require, I mean, in most cases you can do this without a light stand. You just have, a lot of the time I just use these. I do have this big Pixel Pro light. I have it set up in the room just on a stand or just somewhere where it's not too much in the way. I do sometimes use it in different ways as well, but sometimes when I need to just light things quickly and not have a huge softbox in the middle of the room or multiple softboxes, then this just works really nicely. And so, and by the way, this on here is just a piece of wood, and that's it. That's this background, big piece of wood that I got for free. Just a piece of, I mean, it's a nice looking piece, but it's actually scrap. I got it for free from the local timber shop place. Okay, now let's take a look at adding a second light, and this is super simple. So just using the cheap light, I've got a piece of tissue between the two pieces here, between the diffuser that came with the light and the light itself, just to, keep it super weak. And I'm just using this in minimum power. So super weak and super diffused as much as I can get without starting to play around with other bigger things, umbrellas or softboxes or anything. So I'm going to turn up the Pixel Pro a little bit because I'm trying to essentially make this one a little bit weaker. So we want this actually really quite weak. And I'm just going to place it behind here. So I've just literally moved it so it's sitting over there. So you're getting just a tiny little bit of a rim light. Let me show you this with and without. There we go. So that's without and with. So just a tiny little bit of extra light, and yeah, just looks nice in my opinion. Now, one more thing to add is that when you're bouncing the light, it is important to make sure that you're not bouncing it off something that is going to add color. Now, in some cases, it's not going to make a big difference, but in some cases, it's going to be noticeable. For example, here, so we can see that on this sort of slightly shiny surface, we're seeing this sort of green line, which in my opinion doesn't look very good. And that's because I'm bouncing the light in the direction where there's just a piece of green, just sort of a curtain type thing. So that's just something to be careful of. So for example, if I'm seeing that in my shot, then I could aim the light away. And for example, right there, I'm bouncing it upwards. So now I'm bouncing it up in this direction. And then I'm not going to be seeing that green quite as much. And of course, if I'm still seeing it, then I could turn it right away from the green. And there we go. And now you'll actually notice this sometimes if you're wearing, for example, if you're wearing a red t-shirt, you'll notice the red bounce back onto here. So when you're doing a lighting setup like this, you need to be quite careful of where you're aiming at, because you will get light bouncing around everywhere and potentially making your shot not look as good as you want. Now, another thing to watch out for is that when your light is, let's say, aiming up there, some of it might be going over there and causing shadows. So that's just another thing to watch out for. I mean, sometimes maybe you want these shadows, but in my opinion, it's nicer to not have the shadows. So let's say if I aim it just a tiny bit higher, then get rid of those shadows. This lighting setup is the most important thing here, like I said, is just keeping it super simple and out of the way and really quick to set up. Basically just turn on the camera and start shooting. So I hope you guys found this useful. I will have links below to my videos about using these two lights or these only to do like different lighting setups on a person talking. And I will have, of course, links to this, links to the Pixel Pro, and the reviews about these in the description below. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found this useful and interesting, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Visit my channel for lots more awesome filmmaking and photography videos like lighting techniques, DIY projects, behind the scenes tutorials, cameras, lenses, adapters, shoulder rigs, stabilizers, flashes, LEDs, microphones, bags, straps, studio backgrounds, tripods, float heads, sliders, multi-tools, and lots more cool stuff.